CTV Uganda. We are glad we are here to dissect into issues across Africa in our program Focus on Africa. Today we are going to discuss about the youngest leader in the world, Ibrahim Traoré, the transition president, the revolutionary leader of Burkina Faso.
My name is Prince Parry, and I am here with my fellow comrade who would also introduce himself.
Okay, thank you so much. I am Kobana Ajay Kudazi, a Ghanaian, also a member of the NDC, the ruling government. Thank you.
Thank you very much, men from the land of gold, Ghana.
Exactly.
Of course, Ghana is remembered for his the Pan-Africanist in Kwame Nkrumah.
Exactly.
Of course, who started the fight for independence across Africa.
Exactly.
We are glad that you're here. We dissect through the issues of Africa, issues which concerns us as Africa, focusing on Ibrahim Traoré. Why do you think that Ibrahim Traoré is being admired much across Africa?
First of all, I would like to lay this emphasis, which is very crucial to our discussion today. As you rightly made mention of Osajifo Dr. Kwame Nkrumah, who was the first president of Ghana, who actually spearheaded the fight for independence of our beloved country, Ghana. He made a remarkable statement, which till date rekindles in every one of us who believes he or she is an African. What is that statement? He said that the independence of our beloved country, Ghana, is meaningless until it is tied to the liberation of the entire African continent. Laying this emphasis, we will know that whatever Captain Ibrahim Traoré is standing for is the liberation of the entire African continent.
Absolutely.
That is why we will always stand in solidarity with whatever Ibrahim Traoré is doing. Because first of all, it is not for only Burkinabes. Let me state for emphasis also that the meaning of Burkinabe, as said by late Captain Thomas Sankara, Burkinabe stands for the land of honest men.
Absolutely.
So if we would align with Burkina Faso, then obviously we are calling ourselves people of honesty. Do you understand me? People of honesty. This solidarity with Burkina Faso does not only go out to benefit the Burkinabes or the people of Burkina Faso. It is for the liberation of the entire African continent. Why do we say so? If we look from history, we could see that Africa, with all its mineral resources, have not benefited even 1% of those resources. And that is why Captain Traoré is in now for a revolution to liberate his people first, then later on.
And then support all over Africa.
Exactly. This is what the vision is. And as being sound and sane Africans, why wouldn't we align with this cause? Why wouldn't we join this force to liberate our own selves, even if not at all, leaving a legacy for this very generation? We could end up leaving a lasting legacy for the next generation. Thank you.
Absolutely. Okay, thank you very much. My colleague, of course, we are looking into, of course, Burkina Faso forming the Sahel region, the Sahel state. Of course, they boycotted the ECOWAS, which they believed it was backed by the Western powers, and it was not fulfilling the interest of course, Africa. How do you see this as you, and then do you think this one will create a very great impact?
You see, the purpose of economic and political organization is to bring liberation and freedom to the people. And for me, I know that Ibrahim Traoré had sat behind and has seen that the ECOWAS is just a rubber stamp for the Westerners to achieve their propaganda and their purpose of life. And so it was very important and empirical that they set aside that Sahel state so that they found a foundation. Just as my brother said, you know, if you are building a story building, you need a very solid foundation. And for them to have cut across the entire Africa and liberate us at a go is going to be impossible. That they have to have a solid foundation. And now you know that the youth are aligning to the objectives and the principles of the Sahel state. It is not magical that we have seen a spontaneous spike and shake in the whole of African youth rallying behind the Sahel state. We have seen something. What is the purpose of democracy and economic organizations? To bring freedom and liberty to the people. So as well as progress and development, have you seen such from time immemorial? No, we have not seen it up until the intervention of Ibrahim Traoré. We will talk about his achievements, but before then, for somebody to say that I don't like IMF, a loan from IMF, a loan from World Bank, a loan from the Europe and America, it tells you something. My grandfather said that out of debt, out of trouble. So if you want to pull yourself out of trouble, then you have to take yourself out of debt. If you have the capacity, the enablement to raise your own fund, why do you go for help from somewhere, which you know that you pay? Not only paying, you pay with interest and conditions. So we have seen that ECOWAS had not helped us, and we are testifiers. It's not about something that we are assuming. We have experienced it. ECOWAS has not helped Africa anyway. So it is very important that they set aside and they also maybe kept out of ECOWAS and do something special so that it will be built upon to liberate the entire Africa. Thank you.
Yeah, of course, because we are seeing the Sahel state, actually the Sahel Alliance is more concentrating on the economic independence of these states and then also strengthening the security of the region.
Of course.
Because we are looking at, well, Ibrahim Traoré is saying that here in Africa, we have America having bases in Africa, but Burkina Faso is not having bases in America. So it's like, I think he feels like Africa needs to be independent in its security.
It means that we are not.
Yeah, because that means the surveillance and other things. If of course you don't have these bases in Africa, that means your security is highly enhanced. Of course through intelligence, because you don't know these bases. Why are they there? So in other words, that is good, and we are looking forward if this alliance could spread all over.
Yes. Okay. Now we can talk about 3 countries we are forming the alliance of Sahel states, which will be Mali, Niger, and Burkina Faso. But it seems now, with Traoré being the youngest amongst the 3, that is why he's taking the shine. And he's doing phenomenally good with his intentions, with his vision, with his mission. There is this purpose that at the end of the day, the Sahel states would be triumphed, would be successful, and in the nutshell, liberate the whole of African states.
That means there are higher chances of the Sahel region extending to the neighboring countries and also to the whole of Africa.
My brother, Africans have longed enough sought for this time. This is the time for liberation. This is our only time as Africans to be liberated economically, military-wise, politically. This is our time for Africans to be liberated.
In other words, Africa needs to be independent in each and every sector.
That is what we say Africa is independent. But from my own view, Africa is not independent. Why would we say that the United States of America would have a military base in Ghana? How is that possible? Why should that be? Is Ghana having a military base in the United States of America?
Absolutely no.
So what is the intended purpose? What do the Americans tend to achieve by setting up a military base in Ghana or any part of Africa? Is it not to our own detriment?
Then that means if it is done like that, then also later the Burkina Faso also have the bases in America.
Of course. That is fairness. It is only fair. And this is what the Sahel states are calling for. Come on the table with equity. Come on the table with equality. Let's be fair. Even when we have to trade with you, let's come on the fair table. Let's come on the fair ground. He who comes for equity must come with clean hands. And that is what Ibrahim Traoré is calling for. I guess whilst we go along and we outline some of the achievements of Ibrahim Traoré of Burkina Faso, we will then see what he has been echoing. Yes.
Okay, absolutely. That's good, and thank you for that observation. Once again to you, Comrade. Looking into Burkina Faso, we have seen a lot of coup d'etats, of course, failing in the Burkina Faso. What could be the reason for these numerous coup d'etat attempts in Burkina Faso? According to you, what could be the reason for this? Yet the leader is doing well, and the Burkinas are saying, yes, you're doing well, Ibrahim Traoré. But then again, we are seeing other forces attempting to overthrow him. What could be the reason?
It's an external forces.
External forces?
Yes, simple. Because the people of Burkina and other people from Mali and Niger are very happy about the government. They are very happy with the things that the government is doing. So why do you think that the citizens who these leaders are serving well will just wake up one day and say that we want to overthrow our good leader? It means that the Westerners and the Americans are pushing for this agenda. Because severally they have spoken against Ibrahim Traoré, that he is a coup leader, he's a dictator, but he is not. What is the purpose of democracy if it is not serving its purpose? The goal is to bring liberation to the people. Democracy is not had not been able to do that. That assignment has not been accomplished by the implementation of democracy in Burkina Faso and other sub-Sahara countries. So do you think that we shall continue in that trajectory? No, of course no. So if he's a coup leader, but he's serving the people's interests, then he is not a coup leader as he has been described by the Europeans. But for sure, it is external forces which is pushing. There's a mighty hand which is pushing. But you know why they are still failing? Because the leaders are honest. They are doing a human job. They are doing the good works that the people are expecting. The people are not expecting much, brother. Africans are not demanding much. They want to see development, infrastructure. They want to see liberation. They want to see them come out of debt. They want to see hospitals. They want to see good schools. These are the things that they want to see. And these are the things that the leaders are doing for them. But the Westerners are saying that they don't want it because they have seen that we are gradually heading towards the liberation. That is what we see. Because if you look at social media, if you look at the media, if you look around the world, you could see that Africans all over the world are rooting for this man. But they are not in the country. People in Guinea, people in Kenya, people in Uganda are not in Mali. They are not in Burkina Faso, but they are rooting for him. Why? Have you asked yourself these questions? Because they have seen that this is what we expected our leader to have done, but he had not done it. People have traveled before. They've gone to Qatar, they've gone to UAE, they've gone to Saudi. They've seen what their leaders have done. They've seen what their president have done for them. So they see a reflection that what had happened in Qatar, what had happened in UAE, Dubai, is happening in Burkina Faso.
The source of inspiration.
Yes, it's becoming visible for somebody to pay his local debt, for somebody to say that I don't need IMF, for somebody to say that we are constructing hospitals and schools and it means that what is happening in the other world is happening in Africa.
Absolutely.
And the Americans do not want to see this one happening in Africa. So the coup d'etat is failing because the people think that the leader is doing good work, and it will continue because the Americans will think that this leader will one way or the other metamorphose into a universal leader for Africa, and Africa will be liberated. That's what I think.
Oh, that's wonderful, because we have been seeing that Ibrahim Traoré has implemented one of the foreign policy by sending away the former colonies. We are the France, okay? We are the France, and I think this is one of the attributes. These are the people now maybe trying to come in, because I remember one of the coup d'etat which was there was in Ivory Coast, actually, coup d'etat. Then another one, it was actually even inside, but I think Ibrahim Traoré intelligence had to beat this. So I think most of these coup d'etats would be attributed majorly to, of course, France, because France was getting a lot from Burkina Faso.
The question is, who stands to benefit when these coup d'etats succeed? That is the bigger question. Who stands to benefit? When these coup d'etats succeed, whilst we have missionaries in rebel camps, this is not by hearsay, this is on tape. And this is what Ibrahim Traoré, captain, has been always echoing, has been always speaking about, that this terrorism, this coup happening, it is not just mere coups. These are funded coups by those who stand to benefit a lot. Because obviously France is not happy, Germany is not happy, America is not happy. Why? Can you talk about Burkina Faso being the hub of all those mineral resources, lighting up France, lighting up Paris, whereby Africans go on holidays, whereby about 40% of Burkina Faso does not have light.
Imagine. It's
Can you imagine that?
It's bad.
And this revelation came to being a couple of days ago. It was all over social media. That the last coup d'etat that failed, over 160 men were arrested, which included missionaries with financial capital, physical, of course,
intelligence in Burkina Faso.
Of course, having over 85,000 CFA physical cash with them.
Oh,
what are they using it for? Yes, recently it has come to light that those who were supplying the arms to the terrorists were also apprehended by the Traoré forces. And all this sums up to one thing, that France is not happy. But Ibrahim Traoré, as able as he is, as intelligent as he is, as visionary and missionary as he is not ready to back down. And that is why he has the support of all like-minded Africans. This fight is for you and I. We will not back down until Africa is liberated. And Africa unites.
Absolutely. So looking at the coup d'etat in Burkina Faso, for which we saw that it brought Ibrahim Traoré on board. What is the uniqueness behind this coup? Why is it that this coup is not like any other coups in Africa?
You know, sometimes I stand to ask myself, is this even a coup? Or it was just a takeover?
You call it a transition lead?
Of course. This is a dignified coup. This is a coup everybody should applaud.
Yeah?
Because, why do I say this? There was no single bloodshed. And it was for a good purpose.
Oh, that means there was a lot of knowledge invested in this.
Of course, it was orchestrated. And the people called for it. As the aide-de-camp of the former president, he had all that intelligence. Of course, he could have been sorted out. He could have been given everything he wanted. His family could have been sorted out. But he looked beyond selfishness. He looked beyond greed. His focus, his aim was for his people. And as Thomas Sankara always said, Burkina Faso is the land of honest men. Will you take that amount of money just like his 2IC was awarded? so that he could assassinate him. How much was he even awarded? $5 million? Would you take that money and live with the greed forever? No. And that is what Africans are made of. We are honest people.
Absolutely.
We are the mothers and fathers of humanity. Out of our bosom and our wombs comes the human race. What are we building? We are building a future of honest people. And if it has to start, it has to start from Africa. And I am glad it has started from the Sahel states.
Well, that
with
is
Ibrahim Traoré spearheading it.
Actually, even some of the attributes of seeing him rise into such a peaceful coup d'etat, I think his knowledge in the military, his career in military, I think helped a lot, because if you see, he has been in too much the UN peacekeeping missions in Mali, and also when he joined the Burkina Armed Forces, we saw he was very good at fighting insurgencies in Burkina Faso. So I think this one is also a little bit one of the factors which led to this peaceful coup d'etat in Burkina Faso.
Where do you come?
Yeah.
Looking at the background of Ibrahim Traoré, captain, he came from a standpoint. You could vividly say that he's a visionary because he knew what he was doing. And what was his vision? Is to liberate his people.
This was the Pan-Africanism in him.
Exactly, the spirit of Africa and the spirit of Ubuntu,
which is derived from the great grandparents.
Of course.
Kwame Nkrumah.
Ubuntu always says that I am because you are. You are because I am. We are because you are. Ibrahim Traoré had that spirit in him from childbirth. In Africa, we always know that from the likes of Ya Asantewaa, which you might not know about much, or Komfo Anokye, which you might not know about much, these were people born with special attributes. So as we see Ibrahim Traoré, he was born for duty. And this is a duty call.
It is a call.
It is a calling.
For him to come and liberate.
Of course.
And he's not only liberating Burkina Faso,
no,
but liberating the whole of Africa.
Of course.
Yes.
This has been the vision of Patrice Lumumba. This has been the vision of Muammar Gaddafi. This has been the vision of Thomas Sankara.
So should we say that we are seeing once again the forces of nationalism rising again in Africa?
Yes, of course. Obviously. Obviously, it is obvious. The signs are all over.
The forces are aimed at kicking out neocolonialism in Africa?
Yes.
That means we see great hopes for Sahel state enlarging and covering the whole of Africa. Does it mean that, is it good for Africa to become into a revolutionary, all of them to be revolutionary governments?
Of course, we are in a revolutionary era. The wind of change is gradually blowing. And it has started from the Sahel states. Trust me and you, it will blow all over. And very soon, the whole of Africa will be affected.
Well,
it has to start from a point. And we are so glad that it has started from Mali, Niger, Burkina Faso. But gradually, we are of the view that it would affect the entire African states.
Absolutely. Okay, that's great once again. Okay, back to you.
Yes, madam.
We see that Ibrahim Traoré has signed some bilateral agreements with some foreign powers like Russia and Turkey, and Do you think this one won't again bring in the forces of neo-colonialism in Africa?
I don't think so. For me, I think that it's a strategy and a method to neutralize the powers which will come from America and Europe. Because even though it's strategic, but it has small numbers, trust me. The America, the Europeans, the NATO, their forces is mightier than Burkina Faso if you put side by side, obviously. So for him to, you said it, that is a strategic military leader. So for him, he's gone battles, not once, not twice. He has the experience, he has the expertise. So he sees what we have not seen. He knows what we do not know. So for him to go to Russia, it means, and you know Russia is big in terms of military. And once the Europeans, the NATO sees that Russia is aligned to Burkina Faso, they will also delay whatever that they want to do. So it's a technical and tactical approach by Ibrahim Traoré to sign that bilateral agreement with those foreign nationals, not to sell off his people into another slavery, but to ensure that the liberation that is given to his people is 100% secured. He has seen his own forefathers, Thomas Sankara, Dr. Kwame Nkrumah, and Mama Gaddafi being slaughtered by these people. So he has learned from his past lessons. His grandfather has spoken to him. So he knew what he's doing. He's not selling off the people of Burkina Faso into the hands of the Russians. But he's only making sure that he used the Russians to counter the powers that might come from NATO.
It is a military strategy.
It's a strategy. You said it. Exactly. It's a strategy. He has seen it. He has seen it. See, nobody will one way or the other praise the Qataras, the weapon that killed the grandfather. So he has seen the weapon that killed his grandfather. He said, okay, this is the weapon. So how do I overpower this weapon? He sees that he will not use his people to counter it, but he's going to use an affiliate who is superior, like the powers that are coming from abroad, that the powers that are coming from external, that will impeach their progress. Because you remember, once they are able to destabilize and unite Burkina Faso, automatically the progress will come down. Because there's no single country which can develop without unity. And this is what the NATO, America is the first one to do. You have seen it from afar.
In other words, he is looking for a backup.
Of course. So now you will not be thinking about Burkina Faso. You'll be thinking about Russia.
Oh, okay.
You'll not be thinking about Burkina Faso alone. You'll be thinking about that. Once you touch Burkina Faso, it means that you have touched Russia. And Russia will not let you down.
Just to add a little, history would always tell us that Russia is no colonial master of any African country.
None.
So if you were an African state and you want to do business, who is the best to do business with?
Russia.
Of course. This is strategic. This is intellectual. And now the bilateral trades are in such a way that Russia has set up businesses in Burkina Faso. So the moment you attack Burkina Faso, you are attacking Russia businesses.
We are touching the investment.
Okay.
You dare not. That is all strategic.
That means the bilateral agreements, it is they are win-win between these countries.
Exactly.
Are we not going to see again the forces of ideologies coming back, of which brought the World War I and World War II? The capitalist and communism, and then
Socialist.
Yeah. If there is a history to that, then we can dwell on. But do we have history on that? In terms of Russia's association to any African country? Do we have history with that?
No.
So then let's not be so washed away by the fact that that could happen. Anything at all you do on earth, we believe is a risk. And the risk has been measured enough for Burkina Faso to go into these bilateral agreements and these bilateral trades.
So that means there was a deeply analysis of these treaties to say that the Burkina Faso benefits.
Of course.
And that's why we are seeing now
Of course.
it is waving all over Africa and the world.
Of course. And Putin himself knows that other African countries are on standby watching. What goes on between Burkina Faso and Russia will determine what might go on between Russia and other African states. So they dare not make that mistake. They know.
Well and good. That is great. Okay, that's good. Maybe now we can look into, maybe the world would wish to know, why is it that when there was rumors that people wanted to overthrow Ibrahim Traoré, we saw the Burkinabés flooding the streets? Yes? Yes, what could be the reason why these Burkinabés had to flood the streets in order to defend Ibrahim Traoré, the revolutionary leader?
Master, the leader is serving them well. He is serving them well. If you have a wife, and your wife is serving you well, one way or the other, somebody manoeuvers and want to take away your wife. Will you be at peace?
Not at all.
So, see, the people of Africa are not expecting much from the leaders. I'm telling you, they want simple things done.
Basic needs.
But the democracy that they have practiced over the years have not been able to fulfill all these simple tasks. So when they saw Ibrahim Traoré in a space of 2 years, not taking loan from IMF, growing their GDP, building tomato factories, paying off the local debt, building hospitals, giving the doctors Land Cruiser, 2023 model Land Cruiser. For him to have even start in 2007 model, the people saw that no, this is a leader who has our need at heart. And so they will not sit down for such a good man to go away just like that.
Absolutely.
The man is a breadwinner of their family, if I should say. For example, if you have a breadwinner for your family and he's losing his feet because of maybe foreign pressure, foreign influence, you will not sit down for such a good man to go just like that. You will fight for the person. And you couldn't see that only in Burkina Faso. You saw it across the world. Even people in Europe demonstrated on the street. In Ghana, people went to the embassy.
Globally.
In Kenya, I saw people. In Nigeria, they rallied behind him.
We hear even musicians have come up
But
to...
are you sure that Ibrahim Traoré is from Nigeria? He's not from Nigeria. So why would people, thousands of people, go to the streets and protest against such an act? It means that they have seen. My brother just said that Russia president knows that most of the African countries have sat back. They are looking at what is going to happen between them and Burkina Faso in order to act accordingly. It means that most of the African countries are waiting for a spring in their country so that they could also follow suit according to what Ibrahim Traoré had done. They want to replicate it in their country. The man has served the people very well. He is not a greedy man. He doesn't take bribe. He's building hospitals. He's building schools. He's cleaning the streets. He's lighting up the communities. What else again are you calling for? You want to take this man and bring who? Democracy? We don't want democracy. We want development. If it will take 100 years for him to reign, for Burkina Faso and the entire Africa to see progress, so be it. Because I have never heard the UAE going for an election. But they're developing. I've never seen Qatar going for election.
But they are developing.
Same as Saudi Arabia.
Go and check their GDP. Donald Trump went there recently to take 4 trillion.
That was just last week.
He went following in a nice word. He said he need people to invest in his AI. But it's a grant and loan that he came for. 4 trillion.
Three Gulf countries give him that money. You see,
but there's no democracy there.
Let me put to light our interest in this whole thing. As Ghanaians, we share a border with Burkina Faso.
So should we expect the forces extending to Ghana soon?
Look at this geographical dispensation. We share a border with Burkina Faso. What goes on in Burkina Faso directly affects we as Ghanaians. Okay? So just like the saying goes, you do not change a winning team. Never try it.
I get it.
If I would outline just 3 of Traoré's achievements over these past 2 years, he has supported farmers with 10,000 tons of fish feed, 68,964 tons of fertilizer, 10,000 liters of phytosanitary products, 18,000 tons of vegetable seeds, 2,300 tons of feed seeds, and 10,000 tons of concentrated animal feeds. This is just one of it. Secondly, he has supplied farm agents with 714 motorcycles. Thirdly, he has provided farmers with 400 tractors, 239 motorcycles, and 710 motor pumps to boost agricultural production. What all this tells me is that Africa, Burkina Faso, is trying to be food sufficient. We have always fought against hunger. So if you have a leader who is attributed with all these achievements, would you change that leader?
Not at all.
Wouldn't you form solidarity with that leader?
Of course.
So that is where we are now. This is agricultural achievement alone since
That he has made in almost every department.
If Burkina Faso is food sufficient, obviously there will be exports to Ghana. I will benefit, my fellows will benefit. All other African countries will benefit. And this is where we'll enhance vigorously what we call the Africa Free Trade Policy.
You first create the base for the products, and then after the treaties, the trade treaties, free trade treaties within Africa
Exactly.
can come up.
Exactly.
So we are looking into the sustainability
Of course.
of the economy.
Of course. Why should Ghana import tomatoes from China when
Absolutely wrong.
Burkina Faso have Arab lands to do those cultivations?
I realize this day.
Why should we import chicken wings from Japan when Burkina Faso has poultry enough to feed Burkina Faso and to feed other parts of Africa?
Just 1 mile away from us.
So this is what we are forming solidarity with. This is why people will go on the streets to demonstrate.
Yeah, I'm seeing the whole of Africa majority.
Exactly.
They're like, we need to go in.
Exactly. So just like we would always say, nobody changes a winning team. And Traoré and his other counterpart comrades have shown that they are a winning team. And we will reckon and beckon against them, behind them, solidly.
This is absolutely good. So, once again, do we have some forces currently? I'm not yet sure. Do we have forces in Africa, maybe young people coming up, uniting, teaming up to fight for the independence and the sovereignty of Burkina Faso?
Yes, we have. Though not visible, though not named, but you could see it on social media platforms all over. People are in constant communication, people are in constant connection, mobbing up teams, rallying behind the man. Do you think that somebody who is not from Burkina Faso will just wake up one day and speak in favor of the president, Traoré? It is because of what he has seen. It's because he supports the mentality, he supports the way, or he supports the procedure that Ibrahim Traoré is moving on. Because people, remember, all other African countries want to see development in their countries. And now, you know, the world is a global village. So even if a pen or a needle drops in Burkina Faso, everybody at any part of the world hears about it. So the development which is going on in Burkina Faso had been made visible by the virtue of social media and internet. And they want to see all these things being replicated in their country. So if it takes blood, I'm sure people will even share to support or to rally behind Ibrahim Traoré. If that is not the case, why would people protest in France? Because the original liberation is that the Burkinabés want a total liberation from the people of France. But that particular country, people are being protesting in that country. What does it mean? It means that people are not fearless.
Absolutely.
They are fearless. They are rooting for the man. Why are they rooting for the man? See, if this can happen in 10 African countries, it will bring a dynamic change to the whole continent. This is only 3 countries. And we have already seen the waves they change, the momentum and the drive. So I know it will not take long, maybe a year or 2. We will see this being repeated in some countries. It is in the pipeline.
That means we should expect more aggressiveness amongst the African nations.
Yes.
Fighting for such.
Yes.
Like what is in this Burkina Faso?
Those who are been elected for would have to look smart and act in accordance with what the man is doing.
So that means we look.
Even the democratic leaders, they have to look smart and safe and make sure that they address the needs of the people.
Otherwise,
just
we
like
see.
Ibrahim Traoré.
Yes, I get you.
If you do that, then the people will rally behind you and still vote for you. But if you do not do that, they are coming for you. See, this man is 37 years or something.
Yeah, 37.
He's doing wonders.
And he has been in power for 3 years.
So it means that he's influencing people of the same age, the same mentality. He's influencing people.
You see, just to put across, we have never had this situation in the entire Africa.
Sure.
Within these past few years.
Sure.
Obviously, there's something being done right. Just to put this across, it got to a point in time I was at work, and I was so convinced that if where I was sitting at that very moment, Burkina Faso is to stretch hands and say, well, we need people to come and fight. I was ready.
You were ready to go
resign that very moment.
You are ready to go in and
fight? What was I living for if I cannot leave a legacy for the next generation? Unless you tell me the next generation is not visible.
This is a strong nationalistic and Pan-Africanism in you.
No, that is the heart we have as Africans. And this is the time. You see, what is more interesting than being part of a revolution for a just cause? There is nothing more justifiable than that.
I get you in this. I get you. So maybe that is good. Maybe as we conclude, you can paint a picture. If the Sahel region extends all over Africa, how would Africa look like?
Well, in my opinion, Africa will be a great place to be. All of us will go home. All of us will definitely go home. Yes, because we are here somehow for money and for skills. We have acquired the skills enough. Maybe we have gotten something small. But trust me, trust you. Will I be here for the next 10 years?
Not.
Where will I be going to? Home. Where will I call home? Where I have fought to make a home.
Absolutely.
That is where I only have to go back to. If the Sahel states are successful and this wind of change which is blowing gradually affects the whole of Africa, we wouldn't say it will take a day, we wouldn't say it will take 2. Because yes, of course, there are language barriers that we need to take into consideration. That we will need to interject all those to make it something unified. But it is not impossible. It is very possible.
Absolutely.
Africa is the next big thing to look out for globally.
Actually,
And
Africa
it is becoming scary.
Actually, it is. Africa is very virgin. Still virgin.
Like Bob Marley said, emancipate yourselves from mental
Mental
slavery.
slavery.
How long shall we stand aside and look while they kill our good leaders? This is the time to liberate not just our minds, our conscience, but our physics also. Are we ready to make Africa what we love it to be? Yes, we are ready. Africa will be a good place and a great place
To be.
to be.
Absolutely.
Also, to add to what you said, the embassies in Africa will be empty. Yes, the youth will not go and queue for visas.
Of course.
Honestly, because what are you going to get the visa for? To go to abroad to do what? Whatever that you are going to do is there in your country. Is it money? You have it. Is it job? You have it. Is it food? Is it accommodation? Is it electricity? Is it good road, hospitals, whatever? It's there in your country. So you will not be going to the embassy to look for visa, but it will be the opposite. We will now be denying people access to Africa. People will now form queue in our embassies in their countries to come to
Africa.
Yes, to come to Africa.
Of course.
And you have to pay huge sum of amount to get the visa.
Of course.
they
You know,
should be-
sometimes it saddens my heart when I look at the statistics, I look at the data, which says that in a year, out of the 100% of maybe American visa applicants, only 20% of them are awarded. And this money being accrued by the US Embassy is being given back to Africa as loans with interest. Can you imagine? These monies that are the 80% that are not given the visas is being given back to us as loans with interest that we need to pay back for. So why wouldn't we make Africa a better place for us?
It's very sad. Vincent is actually the president of Namibia. Vincent, I think US, they have been having free visas to Namibia.
She-
Tanzania also?
Yes, Tanzania
Yes.
has done that.
Africa is wisening. Africa is gradually waking up from its slumber.
That means there should be hope for the development
There's
of
hope for
Africa.
our generation. That is why I call on each and every African to come along this liberation fight. There is a lot of hope for Africa. That is why I call on each and every youth of this generation to fight for this cause. Let's liberate Africa because we have no home than Africa.
Absolutely. I get you. That means the happiness of Africans is looking forward the Sahel region, extend all over the region.
You should have
The
given
whole
us
of
some
Africa.
time. You should have given us some time to list about 20 of Ibrahim Traoré's achievements. You should have given us that time to list at least 20 of
20.
Ibrahim Traoré's achievements. Then we will know what Africa is made of, what Burkina Faso is doing with Ibrahim Traoré captain as their leader.
Sure.
Now, we can see per data, per information available, that Ibrahim Traoré, captain, is building the largest hospital in West Africa, which is currently under construction and expected to open in late 2025, this year.
Absolutely.
This year. Secondly, a new airport is under construction
In Burkina Faso.
in Burkina Faso, set to be completed by the end of 2025, also this year, with a capacity to handle 1 million passengers annually. With a capacity to handle 1 million passengers annually. Yes, not that only. He reduced the salaries of ministers and parliamentarians by 30%. Listen,
30%.
30%, while increasing the salaries of civil servants by 50%.
That is empowering the...
This should tell you that the leaders, who we call leaders, are not there to lead but to serve. This directive will tell you, by reducing the 30% salaries of parliamentarians and increasing civil servant salaries by 50%.
Ensuring balance.
Should tell you, should send a signal that if you come to power, you come to serve, not to chop. Yes. Fourthly, he paid off all Burkina Faso's local debts. Oh, tell me which African country has been able to do this, with the exception of South Africa.
No one.
All Burkina Faso's local debts he has paid off. As we go on, he has established the country's first ever tomato plant, tomato processing plant. First ever. How long, you could ask yourself, how long did it take him to achieve all this? Within 2 years. Within 2 years. So this is doable. This is achievable.
Absolutely.
All this while Burkina Faso was calling itself an independent state. It was doable. So what was the need of all these international grants, international loans from IMF and all that? What were they for? This was doable domestically. Not that alone. Let me outline two more. So we see that there's something good at the end of the tunnel. He inaugurated a state-of-the-art gold mine to enhance local processing capabilities. State-of-the-art gold mines to enhance state-of-the-art capabilities. They should tell you something.
Absolutely.
That this man is visionary. This is what Africa wants. Aside this, what again are Africans looking for? If there are jobs, if there are good healthcare, good education, what again?
Of course, nothing.
Would we all leave the shores of Africa? No. If we are getting the state-of-the-art education system, state-of-the-art healthcare system,
not really.
Well-paid jobs. We are eating what we grow. We are not eating dead chicken from somewhere, which has been on the seashore for over 6 months. We are not eating fertilized products or produce. This is what we are looking for, and this is what the Sahel states are giving back to their people. Why wouldn't we join hands to make this a reality or a dream?
I get you.
We are in for this. This is the time for Africa, and Africa must wake up.
Sure.
Join hands with the Sahel states and make this a reality.
That the whole of Africa is liberated.
Yes. Yes. See, then again, he had opened the first ever national support center for artisanal cotton processing to assist local cotton farmers. Just to assist local cotton farmers. It goes on and on. Out of this that I have outlined, don't you see something being done enormous with agriculture? Don't we see it?
We see it.
Why don't we applaud it? Why would we want to fight it?
We see it. We see it. I think this is the way to go.
Whoever would fight this is a terrorist.
Huh?
Yeah.
Whoever would fight this is a terrorist.
And doesn't wish Africa good.
Yes,
This
it's
is
a
what
terrorist.
brings joy to the people.
And should be held for treason.
Sure.
Yes.
So whoever is thinking of fighting this should be ready.
This is what Ibrahim Traoré has always been echoing, that we have to liberate our mindset. Because it is obvious that some of us, our mindsets have been whitewashed by the Westerners.
Thank you so much. We are all together as Africans. And if we see other parts of Africa developing, we should all support and be joyful about it. Because one way or the other, it means that we're fighting for the entire liberation of the continent. And I know that in as much as the people of the Sahel has begun, it will erupt to other parts of Africa. Thank you so much. We want to see Uganda develop. We want to see Kenya develop. We want to see South Africa, Ghana. We want to see Ivory Coast, Togo, Mali, everywhere, all parts of Africa, Liberia, Libya, all parts of Africa develop. Thank you so much.
Yes. In as much as His Excellency John Dramani Mahama, Ghana's president, is doing miraculously well with the economy. Looking at where the dollar rate was from when he took over on the 7th of January 2025 till now, we can all say that there is hope. There is a lot of hope for Africa. And I would call upon all Africans in the diaspora to join hands in this liberation, because Africa is the only place we have which we can call home. There is no else than Africa. Thank you.
Well, that's it for today on CTV Uganda Focus on Africa program. Of course, next time we shall be focusing on different parts of Africa, looking at different issues affecting Africa for you, an African, wherever you are, to understand the issues of the African continent. Thank you very much for watching us on CTV Uganda.